the engagement letter, and they talked about the broad languages they were using and so forth. No, it doesn't work. Okay. However, it works for business tax returns. So you can put the consent language if you're preparing like an 1120 for a corporation or a partnership, or that's probably the main business for tax returns that we prepare. So it's okay to put the consent language there. Otherwise, it has to be on a separate piece of paper, folks. A separate consent form. The consent form has to specify the particular use authorized, including each specified type of product or service the information might be used for. So again, so I was talking to somebody, oh yeah, I got to cover this. Whatever additional services that Joe Jones offers to me is okay with me, and no, financial planning services, estate planning services, tax planning services, list them. Now, if you're a Chemical subscriber, you can download these as Word files. Otherwise, have somebody set it up as a Word file. It should be on your server. When you're dealing with your client, you should be generating these forms and having them signed. All right. Number 11, the tax return preparer must have the client's consent by the earlier of, before offering auxiliary service, or when the tax return preparer provides a completed tax return for signature. So if you didn't get them till before you present the tax return for signature, supposedly you're out for a year. Now, I'll share the philosophy in a moment. But anyway, that's supposed to be the guideline. But no retroactive consent is permitted. Once a taxpayer refuses to consent, the tax return preparer is prohibited from asking for the consent again, which is nonsense again. Now, let me go back to the philosophy part, if you will. So first of all right, you guys, you're not all going to jail tomorrow. But, one, this is just something, it's another piece of paper now that we need to take care of as far as our compliance work, if we're going to offer additional services. And everybody should be, additional services may be financial statement preparation. It may be valuation services. It may be, if you're like me, where you're originating mortgages, or you are doing asset management, or what have you. Okay, these are all additional services CPAs may be involved with, and more these days because more are involved. We got a big financial planning section of the AICPA, and valuation we know is just it's going crazy. So anyway, so if we're going to offer these additional services, we better get these consents. Now, the real secret is if nobody complains, nothing is probably going to happen. So treat your clients like gold. Okay, you treat them very, very well. Anybody has a complaint, get it settled. Give them their money back. Do whatever it takes. But you see to it that they go away at least feeling like they've been treated fairly. Okay? That, in the bottom line, is what's going to keep you out of trouble across the board. Okay? Because I don't think that the IRS is going to come rifling through your file cabinets unless, again, if you're the type of person, there's some people that are violating all over the place anyway. Well, these people are just going to get in trouble, and they're going to find any way that they can by hanging them, and so they may very well get a subpoena and plunder their cabinets. All right. They have, number 12, the consent document has to specify the duration of the taxpayer's consent to the disclosure or use of tax return of information, and if no duration is specified, the consent expires 1 year from the date the taxpayer signed the consent. So what do you do? 99 years. That's right. Okay. And the consent uses on the same document as the same. Just have a list. All right. Item number 14. Again, it doesn't really apply to most of you people in here, but you're just prohibited from disclosing any information, particularly the Social Security number, sending it overseas without having taxpayer consent. But the Social Security number can't even be sent with taxpayer consent unless the IRS has been satisfied that there's adequate safeguards. That's why I'm saying you work with your tax return preparation service. They have those safeguards. You have to give a copy of the consent to the taxpayer. These regulations were effective for disclosures and uses of tax return information on or after January 1st, 2009. So you all got consent forms on January 1st, 2009, right? Yeah. And you all remember when they were talking about it in the update classes, don't you? I talked to Gary McBride and I said, yeah, we talked about it. Okay. Now on December 29th, 2009, the IRS issued some temporary regulations, and they permit the use of tax return information to solicit additional tax return preparation services. So, in other words, you can ask more tax return preparation services. It's just the other stuff that you can't ask for. But, you know, it's a good thing they did that, because if they didn't do that, we may not be able to send a letter to the clients to tell them to bring in their information next year. Good thing, huh? All right. They have also ruled that disclosure and use rules don't apply when accumulating information for professional liability insurance carriers or when providing information to an attorney to defend against a malpractice claim. Wow, boy, that's a relief. Of course, we don't know if that applies to California or not, but at least we know that the IRS is a good policy on that. Okay. Number 19, the IRS has ruled that tax return preparers won't violate the disclosure or use rules when notifying current or former clients about changes in the tax laws for which they should consider filing an amended income tax return. Aren't you glad to hear that? Should they have even had to say that? Well, it's good to have a little assurance anyway, I guess. But, you know, it just sort of makes you wonder, you know, should I ask on every little thing? You can also release your mailing list to an outside mailing service to mail the firm's tax-only newsletter or information for educational purposes. Oh, but what about if you have a newsletter that talks about other things? I mean, don't most of us, if we have a newsletter, we talk about the other things we do for our clients? Yeah, about the great valuation work that we were doing, or the great, you know, thing that we did, you know, save a bunch of people money for somebody on an estate plan. Well, I mean, wouldn't they like to know about that? So, oh, well, you better get there.